The mysterious murmur of the lake. Detective Marcus Reed hadn't planned to stay in Lake Haven past sunset. But as he stood at the shore of Mirror Lake, watching the last rays of light dance across its surface, he heard it, a sound like singing mixed with static, rising from the depths. The case file in his car contained 5 missing persons reports. All disappeared on nights when the lake was perfectly still, like tonight. All vanished while investigating similar sounds. His recorder picked up something else in the murmurs. A pattern. Numbers, maybe. Or letters. The kind of code he used to break during his time in naval intelligence. "The lake is hungry tonight," said Eleanor Wade, the local librarian, appearing beside him. Her gray hair caught the dying light like spider silk. Some say it's been hungry since they flooded the old town in 1952. The digital thermometer on his dash read 19.52 degrees Fahrenheit. He had exactly $19.52 in his wallet. What patterns do you notice in everyday life that seem too precise to be coincidence? How do you rationalize them? Marcus set up his monitoring equipment along the shore. Hydrophones to record underwater sounds, temperature sensors at various depths, motion detectors around the perimeter, and underwater cameras in the shallows. The first night's recordings revealed regular patterns in the murmuring, temperature inversions that defied physics, shadows moving against the current, and an old melody his grandmother used to hum. How do you approach investigating something that challenges your understanding of natural law? The patterns began forming meaning. Morse code fragments in the water's rhythm, binary sequences in temperature fluctuations, words formed by shadow movements, and musical notes that spelled messages. Then Marcus found the diary entries sealed in waterproof containers floating to shore one by one. Research log, day 147. The lake isn't just drowning people, it's preserving them. The old town below isn't empty. Dr. Chen's experiments never stopped. When does scientific research cross ethical boundaries? What responsibilities do researchers have to their subjects? Library archives revealed the history. In 1952, the government flooded the town of Havens Deep to create a reservoir. But before the flooding, Dr. James Chen had been conducting experiments in human preservation, attempting to achieve suspended animation using a combination of extreme cold and experimental compounds. The townspeople who evacuated had actually volunteered for his final experiment. They believed they would sleep beneath the lake until medical science could cure their ailments. The murmurs weren't messages, they were sleep-talking. How do desperate circumstances change our definition of consent? When does hope become delusion? Marcus began experiencing flashes of the sleeper's dreams. Hospital rooms from the 1950s, Dr. Chen's promising smile, the flood waters rising, hundreds of people in suspension tanks. Through the hydrophone recordings, he could interact. The sleepers were semi-conscious. They believed only months had passed. Some wanted to wake up. Others feared what they'd find. But something else was wrong. The preservation system was failing. What obligations do we have to those who made choices in the past that affect the present? Signs of system failure multiplied, water temperature rising, dream messages becoming erratic, preservation compound breaking down, strange lights in the depths. Marcus discovered the terrible choice. The sleepers would soon wake, the lake's pressure would crush them, modern medicine couldn't save them, they had to be warned or moved. How do you handle the responsibility of deciding others' fates? What gives anyone that right? Marcus found unlikely allies. Dr. Sarah Chen, the original researcher's granddaughter, Michael Wade, whose grandmother chose to sleep, Captain Lisa Torres, deep water rescue specialist, and Dr. Paul Barrett, cryogenics expert. Together, they learned the preservation technology's limits, possible extraction methods, the risks of rapid awakening, and the window for rescue, 3 days. But saving them would risk exposing them to a world they weren't prepared for. Is truth always better than comfortable illusion? How do you weigh happiness against reality? The team prepared for extraction, designed pressure-controlled pods, created acclimation protocols, located all preservation tanks, and prepared support facilities. But they discovered Dr. Chen's final log. The sleepers were connected to a shared dream state. Waking them might shatter their minds. The lake itself had become part of their consciousness. The murmurs were their collective dreams. How do you measure the value of individual autonomy against collective harmony? In the depths, Marcus faced the crucial decision. Wake them to likely trauma, leave them to eventual system failure, attempt a partial rescue, or find another way. He realized the truth about the lake. It had become a living network. The sleepers had evolved, their consciousness had merged, they had found their own form of immortality. Today, Mirror Lake remains a mystery to most. But on quiet nights, visitors sometimes hear strange murmurs, songs from a community that chose to dream together rather than face life apart. Marcus still maintains his monitoring station, translating their dreams into code, sharing their story with those ready to understand. The lake holds its secrets and its sleepers in a peace they chose for themselves. 1. What defines consciousness and community? 2. Is collective existence still human existence? 3. When should we intervene in others' choices? 4. How do we balance progress against preservation? 5. What makes a life worth living? 6. How do we honor unusual choices? 7. Can isolation become connection?